That power of hope and that power of organizing, that power of knowing right from wrong, that power of, of pushing for a better world. That's that historical perspective that I see. That's where I draw my strength. That's where I draw my hope.
It's a thrill to introduce to Amherst College Carol Anderson, Charles Howard Candler Professor of African American Studies from Emory University. Carol will be visiting classes, she'll be giving a keynote address, and we're just so excited to have you here on campus, Carol. Welcome, it's great to see you.
It's great seeing you, and I'm so glad to be coming there.
When did you realize that you needed to be a historian?
I've always been fascinated by politics.
Mhm.
And how we got here. So I grew up during the civil rights movement, during the Vietnam War, and those phenomena just engaged me. And I was one of those kids sitting on the front porch looking at the Watergate hearings. So the phenomenon of politics and power, and the way that that became infused with issues of race and racism, just always intrigued me. And so that was my trajectory. And being a historian is so cool. It is so cool. It is so cool.
It is so cool. But you also made a really interesting turn in your career as a scholar, I guess about 10 years ago, where, previously to that point, your books were really addressing fellow historians, other scholars of diplomatic history, civil rights history, African American history. And then you started writing for a broader audience that goes beyond people in the professoriate and the academy. Tell me a little bit about making that switch and what prompted you to do it and what that's been like for you.
My first book, Eyes Off the Prize, one of the things that struck me was how I had organizations like the Ford Foundation and Amnesty International contacting me about talking with them and their staffs about the role of human rights in the United States. Emory offered the Op-Ed Project to teach faculty members how to write to a broader audience, because I had this sense that what my historical perspective on how we got here, on power, on politics, on race and racism, could speak to the issues we were dealing with, but how to do that. And so the Op-Ed Project taught me how to write op-eds. And from there, I did that op-ed on white rage that was viral in the Washington Post. And so from there, it just skyrocketed. Just because I had a lot to say.
You have a lot to say about really difficult subjects, painful subjects: racial discrimination, racial violence, voter suppression, the ways that the Second Amendment has disproportionately affected communities of color. Terribly difficult, painful subjects. And yet I know you, and I know you as a person. You are a person fundamentally of hope and optimism. And can you say just a little bit here, and we'll get into it more when you're on campus, how you balance those two things?
My inner core is joy.
Mm.
And when I look into the abyss, part of what I see historically, it's part of the strength that I pull from, is how people fight against the abyss and how they take on the leviathans because they have a vision, they can imagine a better world. And it is that power of imagining that I draw hope from.
It's a pleasure to be around that strength and that hope and that joy, and we are so excited to have it here on campus, and we'll be welcoming you here very soon.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it.